Now let's get back to our lesson. That was fun. Most of you did excellent job, but you were so loud. So in our last slide, we talked about the factors that will nullify your wudu. Now here we get to still we are in the chapter of wudu. من انتقض وضوءه حرم عليه أربعة أشياء on page 21. Page 21. من انتقض وضوءه حرم عليه أربعة أشياء. So if your wudu is nullified, there are 4 things that are forbidden from you. There are 4 things that you cannot do. If you have no wudu, there's 4 things you cannot do. Number 1, as-salat. So you cannot pray. Can you go and pray without wudu? No. So you are forbidden to pray without the wudu. Okay, as-salat. So one of the conditions for the salah is that you have to have wudu. Okay? So you are forbidden to do wudu. Number 2 is what tawafu. What tawafu is, it doesn't show the meaning here, but tawaf is when you go around the Kaaba. So if you go to do Umrah or Hajj, you go to Saudi Arabia, you go to Mecca and you want to visit the Kaaba, and then you're doing tawaf, okay? Tawaf is when you go around the Kaaba 7 times. Okay? Yeah, so we go around the Kaaba 7 times. So if you have no wudu, then you cannot do tawaf. Okay? Al-tawafu means going around the Kaaba. If you have no wudu, you are forbidden to go around the Kaaba. Okay? Got it? So if any of you have the opportunity to go and perform Umrah or Hajj, whenever you're going to go visit the Kaaba and you're gonna go around the Kaaba, you're required to have a wudu. If you do not have it, then you are forbidden to do tawaf. Number 3 is wamassul mushaf. Wamassul mushaf. So that is touching the Quran. So, okay? You cannot touch the kitab. Without wudu, you cannot touch it. So if you have a Quranic book here, we are not talking about the translated one. We are talking about the actual Quran, which is the Arabic only. You are not allowed to touch it without wudu. So you cannot touch the Quran without wudu. It is prohibited, it is forbidden. If you touch it, you are committing a sin. Okay? So you have to have wudu before you can touch the Quran. And then finally, wahamluhu. Wahamluhu is also carrying the Quran. You are not allowed to touch it, you are not allowed to carry it. Okay? So if you have no wudu, touching or carrying the Quran, those 2 are prohibited. But you can read it. Okay? Yes. Yes. So if you can, there are certain exceptions. Like maybe you'll find the kitab is about to burn, or you found like it is in a place which is not a proper for the Quran to be at. Then that time you'll be excused to pick it up and then put it in a nice place. Okay? But you can't just go to the shelf and then grab a kitab when you have no wudu. Okay? Make sure you have a wudu before you can touch or carry the Quran. But you can't read it. Okay? Reading is allowed. If you know the Quran on top of your head, then you can just read it. If you have no wudu. Okay? This is only specific to the wudu. There are 2 or 3 other things that we will be talking about, which will have some of this with some more. Okay, so if you have no wudu, these 4 things are prohibited: salah, tawaf, touching or carrying the Quran. Okay? So I add this one. This is the last one. It is the same as the one we did right now, but we're adding 2 more things. So the forbidden actions for a person in the state of a major impurity. So if I go back to page 21, وَيَحْرُمُ عَلَى الْجُنُوبِ سِتَّةُ أَشْيَاء. So a junub, someone who is in the state of a major impurity. So the wudu is a minor impurity. If you have no your wudu, you call that a minor impurity. Al-junub is someone who is in a major form of impurity. A junub basically means someone who discharges a sperm or a semen. Okay? Whenever you release the sexual fluid, then when you are in that state, you are supposed to do a shower, right? So this is another level. Wudu, we just talked about what are some of the things that will nullify your wudu. Maybe like passing gas or that stuff, or you're touching somebody, just go do your wudu. But if you are a junub is someone who has discharged a sperm, then before you can even pray or do anything else, you're supposed to do a shower. Now, what are the things that are forbidden for someone who is in that state of impurity? The four we just talked about. So the first four are the same as someone who has no wudu. So as-salah, tawaf, go around the Kaaba, touch, carry the Quran. So those four will be the same as the ones we just talked about. Now we add two more. Reciting the Quran. So if you are in the state of junub, okay, in the state of a major impurity, that basically means I want to understand you are supposed to take a shower, not only wudu, okay? So if you are in that state, you cannot do salah or tawaf, touch or carry the Quran, or recite the Quran. You cannot read it. Even if you know the Quran on top of your head, you cannot read the Quran. First go, take a shower, clean yourself, then you can read it or carry or touch the Quran. And then the last one is to remain in the masjid, which is وَاللُّبْثُ فِي الْمَسْجِدِ وَاللُّبْثُ فِي الْمَسْجِدِ. If you're in that state, you cannot just sit in the masjid. Go home or do whatever it is, take a shower, clean yourself, come back to the masjid. Okay? Maybe you were asleep in the masjid and you had a wet dream. And then you get up, go home, take a shower, then come back. Okay, so you cannot just remain in the masjid when you are in that state of major impurity. Okay? So it is, you are forbidden to do a salah, or tawaf, or massul mushaf, which is touching the Quran, or massul mushaf, or hamluhu, or carrying it, or luftu fil masjid, remaining in the masjid, or qira'atul Quran, reciting the Quran. Okay? So we're gonna stop there for today. We have one more, which is the same as this, but they add some four other things. I think that is the forbidden acts for a person in the state of menstruation. Okay, menstruation. So this is for the ladies. وَيَحْرُمُ بِالْحَيْضِ عَشَرَةُ أَشْيَاء. So when the ladies are in the state of menstruation, they are forbidden to do 10 things. 6 of which we just talked about. Right? The salah, tawaf, carrying or touching the Quran, remain in the masjid or reciting the Quran. Those are the same 6 we just did for the junub. So here we add another 4. Fasting. So the ladies who are in the state of hayd, who are in their period, they cannot fast. Do they know that? And then divorce. Al-talaqu basically means the husbands are not allowed to divorce their wives when they're in that state of hayd. But again, if they divorce it, the divorce will still be valid, but it is not recommended to divorce your wife when they are in the state of menstruation. And then number 9, وَالْمُرُورُ فِي الْمَسْجِدِ إِنْ خَافَ تَلْوِيتَهُ. Pass through the masjid for a woman who thinks her blood might soil the masjid. I think for this one, right now we don't have this issue. We have those the sanitary pads, and we're in a more advanced place right now. But like in those old days, when the ladies are in their period, they were not allowed to go through the masjid because they were afraid that they could soil or they could make the masjid najaa, which is a major sin. And then finally, وَالْإِسْتِمْتَاعُ بِمَا بَيْنَ السُّرَّةِ وَالرُّكْبَةِ. To have a sexual pleasure from what's in between the navel and the knees. Basically, if you are married and your wife is in the state of hayd, then you are not supposed to be intimate with your wife until they are clean from the menstruation. So those 10 things. And then inshallah next week when we meet, we might repeat this one more time inshallah. So we're going to stop there for today. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, so we're going to meet next week Saturday inshallah ta'ala. please make sure we are better than how we were today. So after we are going to release the boys, it's special time. We'll inshallah, stay.